Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the December 11th, 2025 meeting for the Lockport Plan and Zoning Commission. Call the meeting to order and begin with a Pledge of Allegiance, if everyone would rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kathy, if we could begin with a roll call vote. Those commissioners present?
You got it. Quinn.
Here.
Calderon is absent. Peters.
Here.
Likens.
Here?
Mychek.
Here.
Garland. Absent. And Giorgetti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the November 12th, 2025 Plan Zoning Commission meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Motion by Giorgetti. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Peters. And before we vote, call a voice vote, Kathy, there are two Scribner items on here under the first case with Serenity Landing. Item 18 under public comments. I think there's just some things that need to be filled in there. And then under the vote, we need to note that Quinn was absent for both of those, in addition to Garland. And that's it. A lot of notes in that one. Thank you. Okay, voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes, and we will move to the public hearings, and because we have a lovely audience here this evening, we're going to move item 3 to number 1, and that is case number 2025-001, a special use permit for a unique use to allow for a columbarium, approximate size 3 feet by 3 feet by 6 feet 4, with a garden to be installed on a parcel zone C2 Community Commercial District. This is a public hearing, and I would ask if there is a motion to open that public hearing.
I'll make that motion to open the public hearing.
Motion by Peters. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Quinn. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Public hearing is open. Staff report? Mr. Lance is getting us set up here.
No, just do the report for the case.
Okay. All right, so we have our applicant. They are Shepherd of the Hill, and they are requesting to do the columbarium. Pretty much went over everything. Their parcel size is about 8 acres, just to give you a reference there. And again, some background, they're requesting a special use permit for a unique use to construct a small garden on their campus, which would be adjacent to the parking lot. The garden would have a small columbarium for members of the church. The zoning code does not specifically call out columbariums in its definition. And since it's not a full building, like we would have, our definitions are for cemetery and like burial buildings, the columbarium doesn't fit in that building definition. So that's why there is the request for that unique use. The zoning of the site is C2, and it's surrounded by a slight mix of uses, additional C2 with some residential to the south. This is their site plan. On the left-hand side, you see the building at the top, the parking lot below that, and then to the east side of that parking lot would be the columbarium location, and it's that small rectangle. And then on the right side of the screen would be the layout of the columbarium with the garden. So the columbarium would be in the middle. There would be some benches and then plantings around it. This is the design of the columbarium that the church has submitted. Again, it's about 3 feet by 3 feet at the base and a little over 6 feet in height. And it would have 64 spaces, I believe. So we have our findings of fact. The proposed building or use at the particular location requested is necessary or desirable to provide a service or a facility in the public interest and will contribute to the general welfare of the neighborhood or community. The columbarium on the site would serve as a practical solution due to the limited availability to develop additional cemeteries. Allowing the columbarium on the property would provide additional space to operate such a use that would otherwise be constrained by the current zoning. And constructing a columbarium on a site already exempt from property taxes would also benefit the community by not using additional land as a tax-exempt property. The proposed building or use will not have a substantial adverse effect upon the adjacent property, the character of the neighborhood, traffic conditions, utility facilities, and other matters affecting the public health, safety, and general welfare. The proposed columbarium will be approximately 6 feet in height and have a base of 3 feet by 3 feet. The tower will be surrounded with landscaping and serve as an ornamental garden, and the columbarium site will be close to the church's principal building, so it will not have much interference with surrounding parcels at all. The proposed building or use will be designed, arranged, and operated so as to permit the development and the use of the neighboring property in accordance with applicable district regulations. The proposed use will not impact development or use of neighboring properties. We have a recommended motion. Should the commission find the request for variance acceptable, the following motion is suggested. A motion to accept the findings of fact and approve the special use permit for unique use for construction of a columbarium with a garden. And that should actually say the request for a special use permit, not a variance.
One other item for the commissioners' consideration. There was a question that came from one of our commissioners related to the size and whether or not this is expandable so that, if this is approved, could all of a sudden tomorrow they build a building with 2,000 of these slots. This approval is specific to the 3 foot by 3 foot by 6 foot facility. If in the future the church wanted to expand that out, they would need to come back to the Plan Commission and the City Council for that approval in order to expand that.
Can I just add one more thing too? And one more thing, I'm blanking on what I was going to say. Why, I just had it. All right, well, it might come back to me.
Mike, the motion should be to adopt the findings of fact, correct, in lieu of accepting?
That's correct.
Thank you.
I did think of it, yes. There will be state licensing required for a burial site, and the church will do that licensing if they get this approved. So it will be an after-the-fact thing. They just want to make sure they can do it ahead of time.
Thank you, Alyssa. Would our applicant like to add anything to what our staff has presented? And you don't have to, just asking. Okay. If you do, Carol, if you would go to the lectern and hit the button so it turns green so Kathy can have everything heard on the CCTV.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Better? Maybe? Okay. Just the special use permit, so we fully appreciate that that's your consideration. Limited space in cemeteries, we really feel like we're kind of the bellwethers for this in the community. I think this is probably where we're going to go in the future for remains. The cremains are all non-organic minerals. So really, ecologically, it's more sound than a cemetery, although, of course, the casket is well sealed and all of that stuff, but there's nothing that can change. What we put in there 1 year, 100 years later, it's exactly the same. And once again, there's nothing biological that would be ecologically detrimental to anything. We think also it's using money appropriately for families. We think we're being good stewards of what the inheritance would be. I think of my own children. This would cost $2,500 for my husband and me. A regular funeral service and all of the trimmings, it's 20 to 20-some thousand. I'd rather they use that money for good things, for charity, for education, for who knows what, but not necessarily for the end of me. I'm good with this. This is very comfortable for me. We have sufficient property. It looks like a garden ornament. It doesn't, it's like almost like a feng shui thing, if that's not being too contrary to our Christian background, that it's a garden ornament is what the public will see it as. It's also movable. If something happens to the church and we need to dissolve it, it can be moved, and we would see it probably ending up in a cemetery, maybe like the Lockport Cemetery. I've spoken to somebody with the Lockport Cemetery, and they're very interested in developing columbarium space and accommodations going forward, because the land is depleted by years of service to the community. So, we think this is a reasonable thing, and hopefully you see it in that light. If you have any questions, anything that you might have from the public?
Commissioners, do you have any questions? I think we're good.
We're good? Okay.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Carol.
thank you. Thank you for your time.
Are there any citizens to be heard on this case? Other citizens to be heard? Seeing none, I would look for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion to close the public hearing.
Motion by Peters. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Giorgetti. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Public hearing is closed. Any further discussion, commissioners? Hearing none, I'll call to question and ask if there is a motion to adopt the findings of fact and approve the special use permit for a unique use for construction of a columbarium with a garden.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Giorgetti. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Michek. Roll call vote, Kathy?
You got it. Quinn.
Yes.
Calderon is absent. Peters.
Yes.
Likens.
Yes?
Mycheck.
Yes.
Garland is absent. And Giorgetti.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Kathy. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the commission meeting, unless you've got something else good to go to. Okay, we will move on to case number 2025-007, the final development plan for an auto body repair shop with special use permit for outdoor storage of vehicles in Lockport Crossings, Lot 6, otherwise known as the Crash Champions Collision Repair. And this is a public hearing, so I would ask for a motion to open that public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Motion by Peters. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Quinn. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Public hearing is open. Lance? Alyssa?
Okay, we are back. A little background on the sites. It is at the southwest corner of 159th Street and Farrell Road. It's about 2 acres. Oh. Which one are we at? Thornton, sorry. Sorry, I have put the wrong information. And our zoning here is C3 Highway Commercial. It is currently vacant, and the special use permit is required for outdoor vehicle storage. Again, we have a picture of the current zoning. It's C3. To the east would be C3 as well. To the west, to the east and to the north is residential, unincorporated. And then to the south, we have C2 commercial.
So for those of you who may not have been around when this was originally done, just a little bit of history to kind of give you some context on kind of how we got to this point. On your screen or in your packet, you will see the original plan for what was called at the time and is called Lockport Crossings. Couple things were built over time. So the initial thing, it was originally an advocate care center. It's now the Dewey Care Center, and it was really in the middle of the site. That was a 3-story building, and there was intended to be kind of some retail, 2-story retail with some offices to the west of that Dewey Clinic, and then some additional outlots to the east. The next thing that was built was Christian Brothers. Everything sat vacant for a number of years. Ultimately, about 7 years ago, Christian Brothers came forward with a proposal for a new repair shop, and that went in directly to the east of the Dewey Clinic. O'Reilly's opened up about 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago. That was the second thing to be built. And the Oasis small 2-tenant spot has been here for years. So that was an existing thing. It was part of the family ownership of the overall property that came through. So what you see on your screen, kind of the pink area, that was the original construction and what you see today, the parking lots, the various different developments that are on the site. What we are here today for is what is outlined in yellow, which is to the west. There have been a number of different proposals over time for that far west edge. Ultimately, nothing has ever moved forward. Lack of visibility, there are some other challenges with the access and how to get back and forth, and so it hasn't always been a high volume commercial site. And so Crash Champions came forward with a proposal along with the property owner to do what we have in front of you tonight. And then the remainder so that green one is really thank you, is really the last piece of it if this project is approved.
We will discuss the site plan first. So the site plan includes the Crash Champions actual building, which will be about 20,000 square feet for an auto body repair shop. Access to the site will be on Thornton Street, and that will have a right-in, right-out access. And there will be a temporary road constructed through that Dooley lot until the remainder of the outlot is redeveloped. Cross-access will be maintained between the two properties. There will be customer parking on the south and east sides of the building. The west and north sides of the property will be for vehicle storage and will be fully screened from the public view with fencing and landscaping. This is an illustration of the landscape plan. Our commissioners, I believe, got a new plan today. I don't know if you were able to view it sooner, but this is an updated plan. And it's in general conformance with the city standards. So recent revisions, but there will be thorough landscaping on that north side that will block from the storage as well as the residential properties on the north. And then there will be additional screening on the west side as well. But overall, screening all around and then foundation landscaping around the building. Here we have our elevations. The materials meet the city's architectural design standards. with more than 60% Class 1 materials. So that will include things like face brick, glass and aluminum storefront, pre-finished metal panel, and CMU block. Lockport design guidelines also require that a building facade in the length of 100 feet or more shall include a change of plane in the facade for every 75 feet. This building has 3 increases in plane. The building is over 100 feet in length, so it does meet that requirement as well. Here are additional elevations, so you'll see the front of the storefront as well as the back, and then a rendering of what the building will look like once constructed. Standards for a special use. The proposed building or use at the particular location requested is necessary or desirable to provide a service or facility in the public interest and will contribute to the general welfare of the neighborhood or community. This project is turning vacant land into a commercial development. It also meets the city's standards for landscaping, bulk zoning standards, commercial building design and materials, and traffic circulation. The proposed building or use will not have a substantial adverse effect upon the adjacent property, the character of the neighborhood, traffic conditions, utility facilities, and other matters affecting the public health, safety, and general welfare. The vehicle storage area will be fully screened with a 6-foot fence and landscaping buffer. The proposed building or use will be designed, arranged, and operated so as to permit the development and use of neighboring property in accordance with applicable district regulations. The developer has designed the site to operate in accordance with all applicable district regulations. And then we are at our recommended motion. Should the commission find the requests for, again, this should be the special use permit, acceptable, the following motion is suggested. All remaining items that are identified in the engineering review memo 2, dated November 25th, 2025, must be addressed. We also gave the applicant new engineering review today, so they will have a few other items to address. An updated landscape plan was dated December 15th, 2025, to replace the plan that was included in the original agenda packet. Prior to construction, a financial guarantee for all public and private site improvements in accordance with the city's development code needs to be submitted. Prior to construction, required engineering review and inspection fees need to be submitted. Also, a motion to approve the special use permit for outdoor vehicle storage on a parcel zone C3 highway commercial.
Thank you, Alyssa. Is the applicant here, and do they wish to provide any additional information? If you could just state your name for the record.
Yep.
That would be
My
great.
name's Andrew Hansen, Director of Project Manager of Construction for Crash Champions. So, high level, this is, we've been in business since 1999. Our CEO, Matt Ebert, started with one single auto body shop back in '99 in New Lenox. Today, he's grown that. He is the only remaining founder-led national multi-shop owner in the country. We have over 650 locations in 38 states. I don't memorize these. Go ahead. We do give back to the community as well. We believe in putting people first. Our team members, our customers, and those in the community that we serve. Whether it's giving away restored vehicles to families in need through our partnership with NABC Recycled Rides, giving back to our team members through the Heroes Fund. We have hired, out of our 10,000 plus employees, we have over 650 to probably closer to 900 military veterans working for us now. One back. Through that program, we do take military, outstanding military, first responders, people that want to be in the auto body industry. We do have a what's called a STEP program, which stands for, it's the next slide, sorry, for Skills Training Educational Program. That is also part of a program that we give back through all of our nationwide communities by training not just repair technicians, but also our service advisors and our general managers. For that reason, apprentices go through this program. They work with skilled journeymen in the body industry, and once they're through that STEP program, which is between 15 and 24 months, they will become a full certified technician in auto body. At Crash Champions, we believe in people first. It is one of our Crash Champions core commitments and guides the philanthropy mission of our team. In the last couple of years, we've donated $120,000 towards the Susan G. Komen Foundation for breast cancer, $200,000 to Enterprise Mobility Foundation with collision engineering, which is part of the STEP program of training, and $165,000 just in 2003 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This current property split up as we are splitting it between the two parcels. This parcel is 2.3 acres. We will be building a 20,000 square foot prototype type 2B structure, which is just a metal building with 20 foot clear height. We have secured parking for approximately 65 vehicles behind a privacy and security fence. That is one of our standards. We don't want to have visibility. We don't have many cars come in. If they are totaled, most of the time the insurance companies will pick them up within 72 to 128 hours, depending, right? Just how quick and which insurance company it is. We employ, at this location, we'll employ between 20 and 25, including the management, service advisors, and technicians. And we project our annual revenue to start at $6 million with a growth potential of right around $10 million. Up on the screen is the proposed location that we've seen in our previous slides. Go ahead. That is just a high-level site plan, and then I have some renderings coming forward. That's a typical prototype. That's not the one that's rendered for this location. That is Carroll Stream, but most of them. So you'll see the one that is currently the Crash Champion down in Lockport on Archer Avenue. That's the old version. These are what all the, she went through them. Go back a couple. That one, right, forward one. That one, nope, back. Somebody in one of the meetings asked for what it looks like elevated. One more. That one. So that would emulate looking at probably up above on the Dooley building, inside the Dooley building. So go ahead to the next one. That's our current location. We are currently leasing that. There is a possibility that we might take that piece of property, since we still have a longer lease on it, and turn it into a intake center for all of our ATE, which is another company we own that does all of the calibrations for your vehicle. So all your sensors, all your backup cameras, that site is small enough to handle just that function, instead of running them both out of the Crash Champions location, the new location. some of our neighboring crash champions, Crest Hill, we have a lot of them in Illinois and in the surrounding areas. Bolingbrook, Plainfield, Mokina, New Lenox, Crestwood are all newer styles. So if you're driving in the area, you'll see that type of newer construction. That's it.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, I just want to thank you for the updated landscaping plan and, fencing plan, because that was the number one concern I know from the residents that were here last time, especially on that backside facing the residential. And that was going to be my, only thing is making sure that kind of was taken care of. I've driven past several of these other locations. This seems like it would be kind of, a little bit of a higher end facility. And, thank you for also listening to the residents and listening to the city council regarding the landscaping plan, because that was my number one concern. Being in commercial real estate myself, I know that this is a tough parcel, right? It's tough. It would be very difficult for gas. The ingress and egress is very difficult. Anything that's, quick, it's not going to really be great. So I think this is a pretty good use of this space, being a destination type use, and also still trying to fit along the corridor of 9th Street. So I just want to say thank you for listening to the previous feedback.
I did add a rendering if she goes back a couple, but one of the renderings is from that back of where the residence is, trying to show the landscaping in the berm, and I think we've added, since that rendering, well, maybe I didn't. One? Yeah.
There's a lot more.
So using the elevation and then elevating more with the landscaping and the trees back there, that should screen anything from view from that road in the back.
And I think some of that was in the larger packet, but there's security cameras and things like that on the backside, correct? Because that's, when you add more landscaping, it becomes a little bit more secluded, but
Correct.
being that there's cameras and all that, I
Yep.
think that we should be okay.
Yeah, there's light. There's lower downlighting along, so illuminating the building and trying to shine out some wall packs towards that open parking lot that's in the back.
Any other questions for the applicant? Good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for Lance. He probably knows more now about Crash Champions than he ever wanted to know.
Real quick, Mr. Chairman, on the motion, scratch out memo number 2 and put memo number 3 under the engineering report and have that date be December 11th. There was an update that we were able to accomplish today that the applicant is committed to completing the last couple engineering items prior to the committee of the whole meeting. So I want to make sure that we get that item in there. And then the other thing, this is more of a standard language that we'll continue to add in here, but in the second motion, we would have a motion to adopt staff's findings of fact and recommend approval of the special use permit and so on. Any questions on that?
Maybe. Let's see here.
Mr. Chairman, if I could also, it's not part of the motion, but just as Elizabeth mentioned on the other public hearing we had, where it says recommended motion, it mentions variance again, and obviously the motion's for special use, just wanted to point that out.
Could you repeat that, Mike? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so where it says recommended motion, should the commission find, it just says the request for variance. The motion's fine because it talks about to approve the special use request, so just wanted to point that out in case anyone was confused by it.
Okay. Okay, did I ask if there were any other citizens to be heard? If there are any other citizens to be heard on this case? Okay, seeing none. I would ask if there is a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion by Peters, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Quinn. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes, public hearing is closed. Any further discussion, commissioners? Hearing none, I'm going to call to question. Now, I'm going to do these motions separately just so we get them correct. And I would ask if there is a motion to approve the final development plans for Crash Champions, subject to the following conditions: that all remaining items that are identified in Engineering Review Memo Number 3 dated December 11th, 2025 are addressed as noted in staff's report, including landscape plan, financial guarantee, and the engineering review and inspection fees. Kathy, I'll let you write all that out specifically.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Quinn, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Giorgetti. Kathy, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Calderon is absent. Peters.
Yes.
Likens.
Yes?
Mycheck. Yes. Garland is absent, and Giorgetti.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. I would also ask if there is a motion to adopt findings of fact for the special use permit for the outdoor vehicle storage on a parcel zone C3 highway commercial.
Mr. Chairman, so adopt the findings of fact and approve the special use permit.
And approve.
Yes.
Motion to adopt the findings of fact and approve the special use permit, apologies, for an outdoor vehicle storage on a parcel zone C3 highway commercial.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Peters, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Quinn. Kathy, roll call vote?
You got it. Quinn.
Yes.
Calderon is absent. Peters.
Yes.
Likens.
Yes.
Mycheck.
Yes.
Garland is absent. Giorgetti.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. With that, we will move to our last case this evening. Thank you for your presentation. And that last case is number 2025-010, concept plan for multi-tenant drive-through development at the southwest corner of 159th Street and Farrell Road. This is a public hearing, so I would ask if there's a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion by Peters, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Giorgetti, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes, public hearing is open. Lance, Alyssa? Alyssa?
All right, we have our site here at southwest corner of 159th and Farrell. This site is about 1.6 acres. It is zone C2 community commercial. It currently has a special use permit. The site was originally planned for a gas station that never got built, so but that special use permit is still on the site. It's currently vacant, and a special use permit, a new one, is required for a quick serve restaurant with a drive-through. And again, you can see the zoning here. It is commercial and it is surrounded by commercial. To the north is unincorporated residential. Here is the site plan. Again, this is a concept plan, so not as detailed as something with a final plan. The blue is a tenant that is yet to be identified. This building will have 2 drive-through lanes. It will be approximately 3,000 square feet. The purple building will be Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins. It will have one drive-through lane and be approximately 2,300 square feet. It will have a shared access drive with Culver's. Culver's is to the south of this site, and then that access will go out onto Farrell Road. These are some elevations. So you can see that I have listed here the classes of our materials. Again, we require at least 60% Class 1 materials. This building does meet that standard. The building's exterior will consist of brick, stone, glass aluminum storefront, ceramic and stone tiles, and architecturally finished concrete or pre-finished metal panels. Again, this is concept, so there are some things that still may change, but the elevations that have been submitted meet our standards. And these are additional elevations for the remaining views of this, the building. For the other unidentified building, we will have a similar process. Once that tenant has been identified, the building will not be constructed until there is a tenant. And then we have our recommended motion, and this is a motion to approve the concept plan for a multi-tenant development subject to the following conditions. The applicant acknowledges that staff has completed a general review only of the concept plan and that a more detailed review will occur with submission of preliminary final development plans. Staff comments at this time are general, intended to outline steps necessary if the project moves forward and to provide guidance and considerations for future submittals, with the exception of the following. The site plan must be reconfigured to include right-in, right-out configuration at the access road intersection with Farrell. This is an ongoing discussion with the applicant. They have completed a traffic study, but staff is still recommending that right-in, right-out access. The concept plan approvals are valid for 1 year from the date of the approval. Approval of a concept plan provides the applicant reasonable assurances to move forward with submission of a request to rezone, which this isn't a rezoning, this is a special use permit, and preliminary development plan. The preliminary development plan shall be in general conformance with an approved concept plan.
I'm just going to add one more little bit of history. I guess I'm the old person at the table tonight. In 2002, when this was done, it was a part of the overall Rose Center, which today is made up of Murphy's, Kitty Academy is built in there, Panda Express is built in there, Culver's was an original part of that. When it was developed, what was called Lot 1 and Lot 2, which is in essence this corner parcel and the Culver's, the design had the shared drive that we see today. At the time, the light at the Aldi was not in existence. And so in an effort to try and facilitate the development of the Culver's, the city allowed for that access point to be a full access, which would allow the left out that is currently allowed today. There was a caveat placed on the development at the time that once the BP, which is what the original gas station was approved to be, would be constructed and the light was built at the Aldi with the cross access all the way through, the Culver's access would be converted to a right-in, right-out. That conversion never occurred because this corner was never developed. And so it has been a long-standing policy, policy is probably a strong word, but a requirement of the developments of this particular corner that once it's developed and the traffic that's generated by that development is added to the traffic and the background traffic that would be on there, it would need to be converted to a right-in, right-out, and that is staff's recommendation. We have worked with the applicant a lot on this, and I think we finally come to a resolution on that. He understands the reasons why we are looking at, potential access points to the west that link up with some of our other sub-streets that we have designed with Kitty Academy and a couple other locations as well. So there is ongoing conversations about how we continue to facilitate good access and ingress and egress for this property. So this isn't something where we're trying to jeopardize the developability of this site, but it is something that from a best practice standpoint, from IDOT requirements, our local road requirements, city engineer requests, that this right-in, right-out is a safety factor. As many of you know, if you shop at Jewel, when you exit across the street, that is also only a right-in, right-out. And with the inclusion of the Panda Express full access across from the Jewel, that is in essence the ability to make that left out in this location. So I just wanted to provide the background for that. Again, because the site plan does not show the right-in, right-out, we do want to make sure that that is a part of the motion under number 1.
Thank you, Lance. If the applicant is here, if you would like to add anything to the presentation, if you could go to the podium and just state your name.
It's Vic Patel of DL Holdings. We own and operate over 150 some stores in 5 different states. This has been, again, this corner has been long been developed. We own the 2 Dunkins in Lockport. So Dunkin is moving away from that small strip mall restaurants to like a full-fledged Dunkin's. So this was one of the identified spots that they actually wanted to develop. Again, we've been working with Lance on this one. They have presented it well, and we spoke a few days ago, and it makes sense of what they're asking for. So we understand we can put that in plan so we can pretty much start moving forward. That's about it.
I guess my question for you would probably be in regards to the second proposed QSR. I know you can't like say like, hey, we've got X, Y, and Z on the hook, but that's the only thing that a couple things I'm a little concerned about is it does become a little tight. If that's Chick-fil-A, who's going to have a drive-through forever and they're going to need 1 million parking spots, something like that would be concerning. If it's anything besides that, if it's a normal McDonald's, if it's a Burger King, if it's a whatever, something along those lines, I don't see an issue. But if it is something, Portillo's, Chick-fil-A, something along those lines that requires more parking, that just gets me a little bit nervous. And I know without a tenant, it's hard to say that, and this is only concept plan. But just to kind of like throw that out there, like we could approve concept plan, but if this comes back and it's Chick-fil-A and there's only 35 parking spots, I know that I personally would be a little concerned about that.
So
I would suggest that if that were to occur, it would no longer be consistent with this concept plan because they would have changed the dynamic of the second user to expand the need for drive-through spaces, to expand the need for parking, and it would need to be not reconsidered as a concept plan, but it would need to be reconfigured. And honestly, I don't think that you could probably fit it on the site regardless.
So I can actually speak to that. We are franchisees of Inspire brand. We own few Jimmy John's in the market, but we got connected with the franchisee who owns Jimmy John's in Lockport, and he said so we are in talks. We're almost on like final stages of getting Jimmy John's moved from existing space to,
okay.
yeah. So we are never going to bring because of Dunkin', we cannot have a second breakfast place.
Okay.
So it would be like a lunch or dinner. So now we have identified we're going to move Jimmy John's to a drive-through building actually.
Okay, yeah, something like that would be great. So that wouldn't violate the spirit of I just want to make sure that we're looking out for future. And then the other question I had was, Lance, you had mentioned access to the west, I believe. Is that owned by one of the health systems? And the state of Illinois on 159th Street, is there, would they be opposed to an access point between here and where everything else is to be developed still, or what's our status there?
So Silver Cross Hospital owns the 3 parcels to the west of this one, both Culver's as well as this corner parcel. We have not engaged IDOT in that discussion based on best practices and things that they have approved in the past. We do believe that at a minimum, a right-in, right-out would be able to be achieved, probably not directly to the west of this site, but within the adjacent lot, within that frontage. And honestly, from a topography standpoint, it works out significantly better as well. As Vic would probably tell you, his engineers have struggled with a way, if they were going to get a right-in, right-out on this site, to try and accomplish 6 to 8 feet of grade change over about 35 feet is extremely challenging. And so, we have continued the conversations about how to manage the area west of there. There is certainly interest in getting that second egress, and ultimately, I think for the developability of the Silver Cross parcels as well, that would be of interest for them too. So we will continue to engage both Silver Cross as well as IDOT in those discussions to hopefully come up with something that's a little bit more comprehensive. But as it stands right now, what's in front of you is this particular corner parcel with the modification to the right in, right out.
Yeah, perfect. No, that makes sense. And this is kind of the opposite of the last one, right, where that was kind of an undesirable parcel. Access was poor, but it doesn't really matter. Here, I know you guys are very focused on convenience and getting people in and out and that sort of thing. So as long, and with everything tying in through Culver's, especially Culver's doesn't open until I think 9 or I think 10. And that, you guys are probably very busy in the morning, so I think that it's a complementary use, especially then you bring in another lunch place and, you know, the timing kind of works out as well, and doesn't jam everybody up, and you do have the access at the Panda Express and then all the way down to the signalized intersection as well, in case you have people that want to cut through there, get gas, go shopping, whatever. So, you know, I think that that makes sense. This is probably one of the most important corners that we have left in town, development-wise, in terms of existing road infrastructure and that sort of thing.
Most important and most difficult. All in the same.
Good points, Commissioner. Any other questions for the applicant?
So just to kind of piggyback off of what Aaron was saying, with this being a prominent corner, I'd like to see a little bit of additional thought to maybe just the beautification of that corner as you go through the development process. Not necessarily like anything crazy, but just special consideration to landscaping or hardscaping or something along those lines. So, but otherwise, no. I mean, the use makes sense to me at this corner. Don't have to be an engineer to know that it's a difficult site to engineer. You just have to drive by it. So, I'm okay with it. But yeah, my two things will be traffic and then just beautification of the corner. So.
Very good. Any others? Good. Okay. Are there any citizens to be heard? I don't see any. So we will move on to a motion to close this public hearing, if there is one.
So moved.
Motion by Quinn. Is there a second? Second by Machek. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. Public hearing is closed. Any further discussion, commissioners? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call to question and ask if there is a motion to approve the concept plan for a multi-tenant development subject to the two conditions listed by staff, which includes the requirement to reconfigure a right-in, right-out configuration at the access road intersection with Farrell Road.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Quinn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Peters. Kathy, roll call vote, please.
You got it. Quinn.
Yes.
Calderon is absent. Peters.
Yes.
Likens.
Yes?
Mycheck. Yes. Garland is absent. Georgetti.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, I think that covers all of our public hearings this evening. And I would ask if there is any new business. I don't see any. Lance, any old business? Don't see any. Any citizens to be heard? I don't see any. Kathy, do you? Okay. All right. Chairman's report. The only thing that I would note is our next meeting is at a different location, actually a similar location back at City Hall on Wednesday. It's not at City Hall. What?
Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, it'll be here until February.
till February.
Yeah,
Okay, I was anxious.
sorry about that.
That's okay. So it will be back here, but it will be on Wednesday, January 14th. Okay. Here, then it will be back. Okay, better be quick, Lance. Did you, Alyssa? It's on you. Got to make sure it's. I don't have anything else. Any other commissioners have anything to add? Okay. Staff, anything else?
The only thing that I'll add is we continue with the Greater Downtown Master Plan. I'll be sending out to the commissioners and the city council members kind of the existing conditions analysis that we received last week. We met with our steering committee to review that and discuss it. The TESTA team continues on with our website input opportunities, and I certainly encourage you to review the information. It is I would say, a robust package of information, but it's relatively easily digestible. So it's well worth the read. It has some really interesting insights from a market standpoint, demographic standpoint, kind of focal point sites. So all of those are really lots of good trends for downtown Lockport, the greater downtown. So we're feeling really good about where we are in the process and the product that we have so far, but it continues down the path.
I owe you a survey, Lance.
Yes, you do.
I'm going to make it a motion to, ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Quinn, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Georgetti, all in favor?
Aye.
Kathy, we're under an hour.